Welcome, Spartans, to Halo TV Plus, part of Evolved, your home for Halo. I'm your host, Oran, and on Halo TV Plus, my guests and I recap Halo's original TV show, Halo the Series, and we discuss its contents and unique canon within the Silver timeline. Joining me tonight for Episode 6, Solace, is David Arnold. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Oran. I'm really happy to be here today.
I am so excited to talk to you. I had a feeling that this would be a perfect episode for you because Pablo Schreiber said that he had a very strong emotional connection to Episode 6 on kind of what John goes through in this episode, and you are a huge Master Chief fan, as I know.
Oh, yes.
So I'm very interested to hear your thoughts because this might be my favorite episode. I'm just going to say that out there.
Oh my God.
So far that we've seen. And so there's definitely a lot to talk about that I'm excited to get into. As you know, the listeners, Halo TV Plus publishes a commentary podcast episode and an analysis podcast episode that accompanies the Halo the Series episode of the week. This is the commentary episode where in a moment, David and I will watch Solace and discuss the events as they unfold on screen. We encourage you, the listener, to watch along with us. If you haven't watched the episode yet, we recommend that you watch it before listening as we spoil scenes during and while they happen, if not before. If you're sticking around and you already have the episode queued up, I'm going to get to some housekeeping. If you're new to the show, welcome. Halo TV Plus is part of Evolved that hosts a variety of other Halo shows. Podcast Evolved, Mission Debrief, Builds with Blocks, Halo Book Club, and Halo Headlines. Evolved also partners with the podcast HCS Pro Talk, where Josh and Will discuss the latest information within the competitive Halo scene with an emphasis on community every single week. Shout out to them as they cover the, I think, Kansas City Championships or something that's going on right now. So if you are dialed into that as of this weekend, you can definitely go listen to them on all the happenings in that front. You can learn more about all of the shows and their show on our website, evolvedhalo.com. As Halo TV Plus is a news show, I ask that you rate it and leave it a review, as we greatly appreciate all the feedback and suggestions from you, the listener, to improve the quality of this show. We would like to take a moment to thank all of our patrons for their continued support. Your contributions allow us to continue making new content like this every single week, so thank you guys so much. If you're not subscribed, our patrons receive a variety of exclusive rewards, such as early episodes, unique swag, and access to our original podcast soundtrack, and more. You can head over to patreon.com/HaloEvolved to learn more. Now, episode 6, Solace. Solace. I think it's Solace.
I would say that too.
Yeah.
Basing on the context of what happens in the episode.
Solace. The synopsis for the episode, we have the survivors of the battle with the Covenant return to Reach. John confronts Dr. Halsey and her lies. The new prisoner seems to know John better than he knows himself, and the mysterious artifact shows John something startling. It was directed by Jonathan Leisman, has a runtime of 48 minutes and 38 seconds, and the air date was April 28th, 2022. Now, of course, this is... What I like about this episode, right before we get into it, is that it literally picks up immediately after Episode 5. Episode 5, we'll get into just in a little bit, of course, had that big, huge action sequence. And I think that these Episode 5 and Episode 6 would make a great pairing to kind of watch them together. And so that's something that I think I might do during a rewatch or something, is kind of pair up the different episodes. So that got me really excited. Kind of watching this, that we were immediately thrown back into the action. So, David, are you ready to start watching the episode?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll, buddy.
All right, so we're at 000. Listeners, if you need another moment to sync up, just pause and come right back. But if you're all ready to go, I'll count us down from 5 and you press play or A, and when I say play. All right?
Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so last week on Halo, David, since you weren't here, go ahead and talk about what you thought about the last week's episode, Episode 5, Reckoning.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is probably, if people haven't seen 6 yet, it's probably their favorite episode because it has the action sequence, and this show hasn't had a huge amount of it, not on the scale anyway. But this one's got spaceships, it's got banshees, it's got everything. I mean, we're watching it now, man. You can see the aftermath. It's pretty cool. It was a good episode. It's just cool to see this happening, see the Spartans in the thick of it, to see like the repercussions of some of the stuff that happened in the previous episodes. And this show is a lot of that, of like Master Chief does something and then we see the repercussions straight away, and then how that impacts the rest of the team and the rest of the UNSC. It's pretty cool. Oh my god, just when he pulls the shield and the brute pops down. Oh, it's so
like,
good.
I watched it a few times, and like he straight up slides, grabs the shield on the ground, and immediately puts it on as he's getting hit. Like just
It's so slick.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so good.
It's like it's the moment of like when he pops the bubble shield in that video game, the trailer for the video game, for Halo 3. It's that like, yeah, you pop it right at the right moment. It's great. Okay, we're in the episode now. Sorry, so I'll stop talking about it.
No, it's all good. But so, like I said, like when I was first watching this, and like Chief still has the Covenant blood and like guts and all that stuff still on him, and it's just like, man, wow, they were really just picking up right where it left off, and like I immediately got jumped back in because that ending of episode 5 was just so good. So I really liked how pretty much no time has really passed, maybe just a couple minutes. And what's interesting here is that like John, instead of having like PTSD of the battle as like some soldiers kind of would have, and like, having survivors, and like he's having a shaking, like I feel like he's experiencing all these PTSD symptoms that, Kai might be going through, as, we see her now as she's like, very much injured. But like he's having those moments, but they're tied to his past. And he's having like PTSD about his past instead of the battle that he just was in.
Now we find, I mean, can we do a bit of future spoilers about this episode?
Yeah,
Aaron?
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay. Just make sure it's okay. So we find out like that it's actually the artifacts doing this to John. So like this episode is hinting at like John's health is going very down the drain, like it's very negative, and that's because of the artifacts having such a negative effect on his body and doing whatever it is to his brain. So like it's cool. Like we would look at this and go, "Oh, it's PTSD," but it's not. It's to do with his memories and what the artifact is doing. And I loved it. It's a very intriguing storyline, but I'm loving it, what it does to John.
It's literally draining him, like the whole episode. He's just really fighting to stay alive, and all of Cortana and the Condor like medical system, like everyone is telling him that he's 100% like not healthy, and like something is like really, really affecting him. So here we have Keyes talking to John, just kind of about the battle. Chief takes a lot of the responsibility, and we kind of go right in, and we're reminded that McKee is now with us, and
she's doing her act. She's obviously perfected this of, oh, boo-hoo, come rescue me.
Oh, woe is me.
Yeah. I was going to say, shout out to Charlie Murphy. The amount of Irish actors in this show is quite staggering. I was very shocked, but there's so many Irish people in this show. And Charlie Murphy is from a show called Love Hate, which was like a big drug show that it was before Breaking Bad. It was an Irish show that was made, like the one good Irish show I would say that ever came out.
Oh yeah.
And there were so many good actors in that show that are now moved on to much bigger things. Like Americans would know them. They're in Hollywood movies. They're everywhere. And she came from this show, so it's great to see her in this. She's great.
Yeah, and there was a feature of her kind of like learning the language and what she had to do with the dialect coach and all that kind of stuff, and like to hear her just like kind of just like spit out the like Sangheili language is just it's I don't know, it's like juicy, like
yeah, it's so good,
like almost
just
sexy,
to see humans do it. Just to see, just to throw it out.
And like she puts emotion in it too. She's not just like saying the words. She's like feeling the words and all this kind of stuff. And given the position that she's in. So, big shout out.
Big shout out there. I love all this scene too. Just seeing the repercussions of battles, like all the dead people. They talk about it a lot, and I love that.
that here you're seeing it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all the troops just coming out and we're wheeling everybody, and you see the body bags and just the devastation that the Covenant.
Oh, this shot is so good. Like the sets. Oh yeah, they're so good, man.
The sets are beautiful, and they're huge too. Like their builds, like watching some of the behind the scenes of just like the amount of production design and art direction that they put in there. We got our infinite shot again.
Oh, it's a good shot. Oh, this is a fantastic scene. Oh my god, I love this. I genuinely did not know what was going to happen here.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna go a different way in the middle of it. Like I just thought he was gonna basically put her in there, and then he was gonna talk to Halsey and
That's
be
what
like,
I thought
Halsey,
too.
give me some answers. But then he spins
not
it,
about Halsey.
and he's like, no, it's about Cortana.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, yeah, this is a very interesting scene, and very extreme. Like have we ever really seen like Chief do something like this? Like not necessarily to a UNSC person, but like even like Covenant are just like, this is like borderline torture.
But like they've set John up in this show as being like the ultimate. Like he's just like, he's everything. I love how knowledgeable he is about non-combat stuff. Like he knows all about the technology. They're just super intelligent people. I love that about the Spartans. That like he's just so good. He knows all about the technology, the defects within it. Like his knowledge of it is superb. And I love how he just used it to his advantage here. It's so good. Paolo is so good, man. He's just such a good John. Most thing I love about the show is what they did with John. It's just like to see him go from the robot with the pellet to like slowly breaking down, becoming more human, becoming more desperate, feeling more things. And just like the expression, like the thoughts of people like, oh, we have to have his helmet on for the whole show. I'm like, no, take the helmet off, dude. I want to see your face. I want to see how you feel in this moment, and this show does such a good job of this.
I think, yeah, like this scene, like, yes, 100% like helmet off. Like he's so expressive in this, and just like, I mean, he's just like right here, he's just as he's laying it out, and then Halsey's just in the back, just like he's just ignoring her. I don't think he even like barely acknowledges her. I guess right here,
yeah.
But like
it's throwing digs at her, but it's like it's for Cortana, like.
But yeah, this was a great moment.
I'm glad that they defined this as well, because earlier on, when like in the show, when Halsey was talking about like what the AI would do, like completely subvert John's free will. That's the way she built it when she sold it to like the committee, and I was like, oh, that's awful. But that's not actually what the show is doing. She was just lying to tell them what they needed to know.
Yeah,
and you get the reveal kind of here, or the kind of the payoff.
Yeah, or you just get the explanation that yes, one, it was a lie, and two, like what we've seen before is technically the limitations.
All Cortana can do.
But like it's really like a show of like how Cortana, or sorry, not Cortana, it's how Halsey interacts with the committee and how she lies to them to get what she wants. She was like literally in the showrunners, and people were like kind of lying to the audience in that regard, to where like this is our conceived notion of what Cortana is capable of doing. But then now in this moment, and now John knows as well, like that was a lie, and there are some limitations, and that's exactly what it is.
Also, shout out to this intro. It's amazing. It's like, I love the intro to the suit being built around him. It's so cool. It just looks so good, so nice. I watch it every time. I never skip it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's very cool. Very, very great effects. And the theme is John's theme, and it's like, I don't know, I really like it. It really kind of sets you into the show, I think. And it kind of like,
when it comes when it comes to the music, this is the best piece from the show, I think. I'm not a huge fan of the music so far in the show. I don't think it's very iconic. It doesn't stand out at all. This intro theme is quite nice though. I like it for John. I wish it stayed on the silhouette though, that it didn't just light up. I wish it just stayed at the silhouette. I think that'd be cooler. But I don't know, it's nice.
I kind of like the kind of see him in that hero pose type of a thing. That hero stance, to kind of like, yes, this is me. You got the 117 on the breastplate. So, well, now we cut to McKee. She's getting
watching the Weather
comfortable
Channel.
and watching the Weather Channel. Yep. And she has like, health officials just kind of like cleaning her up. And
I love this actress.
Parangosky is amazing. I love seeing her every time she's on. Her portrayal is like exactly how I pictured and got it from like the Kilo 5.
MZ, she's amazing. Oh my god. I had to pull her. I had the cast pull them just so I get the names right.
Shabana, yeah. No, she's 100%. Like, I think she's like, she might be the character that is like 1-to-1 representation. Like,
agreed. Yeah.
Like Halsey's pretty close, and I think we'll talk about Halsey a little later because there's a lot of good, juicy, like core canon Halsey in this episode.
They went to the extreme with Halsey. They went once all on one side with Halsey. Like, if her journal didn't exist, you don't get the real inner workings of her mind. You think that this is the way she is in the games too.
Yeah.
I like the politics though. I like that there's an element to that too. With this committee and Hood. Hood just seems to be like the big bad. Everybody has to keep him happy.
Yeah.
And he comes across very different.
But I do like that, like, Parangosky, like, it's like in the books and core canon, like, Parangosky's kind of like, or she's like the head of Oni, like, as a whole. But, like, this committee is, like, the way she's kind of set up in the show is that she's not really the head of Oni, she's just head of Section 3. And so these other committee members...
Forgive me if I'm wrong, Oran. They never say Oni, right? Oni doesn't exist yet in the show. We've never heard the word Oni said, right? There doesn't seem to be the spy network that everyone's terrified of. It just seems to be Section 3.
I think you might be right. I'm trying to think that maybe I've just assumed. But yeah, maybe Section 3 is just within the UNSC now.
Because, like, everybody was terrified of her in the books and the show. And in this show, they're not really afraid of her. They're kind of working around to subvert her, kind of, They don't seem to be...
But they do know of, like, what...
Yeah, for sure.
What she's kind of capable of. And, like, in that first episode, like, to kind of jump back to that, like, the way Parangosky just kind of, like, takes charge of, like, of John, like, what's it called? Going rogue, so to speak. Like, I think that was just, like, a good moment for her. So I missed it, but like the guard, the military police marine that like said is like, she's one of them, chief. Like, all the squid heads, they don't take prisoners. Like, don't believe her lies. I'm just like, yeah, hell yeah, guy. Like,
because she got in way too easy on the ship, and I was like, oh guys, come on, don't just accept this. And I'm glad that like everybody in humanity is not like that simple, and they're just like, no, she's one of them. She's not one of us.
Well, I just like how it's all the different like whispers in his head, and it's like he's constantly hearing things from the artifact. Now he's listening to McKee, kind of seeing what her story is. There's a random military officer. You have, all the other little characters have their own little piece and opinions, and John's just literally sorting through it all to try to come up with what he thinks all of this means. I'm trying to see where we are in the conversation.
She just told him, go find this holy planet. Like, everyone's like, this is a lie.
It doesn't exist. But I feel like maybe it doesn't exist because like they haven't charted it, maybe, or it's like cloaked or something. That's kind of something that I thought about. I mean, they don't really touch on it after that, but like that scene that comes up where Keyes is like,
yeah,
we can't find it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, also what I find interesting is that I wonder, like, what's her goal here? Because, like, some of the stuff she says is quite truthful. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Does she have an ulterior motive here for herself personally, not for, like, the Covenant? I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, she's fascinated with John, that there's another one like her. And I love this. I love their scene is really good. And there's another one later on. It's also really good.
I think there is an element of that, yes, to where she... As we saw, I think in episode 3, where she just like, kills all of the UNSC crew on that ship. Like, she's definitely like against humanity. But it's just the fact that John can also interact with the artifact that I think her curiosity, I think, surpasses her like allegiance to the Covenant.
Yeah, I think she's not necessarily against John, but she would definitely
she wants to know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we get and now I do like this to where with her talking, it flashed back to Reth because like during that scene when they initially had it, like I kind of had mixed feelings about it because I felt like Reth was kind of giving a little too much information. Like really, he knows all of this.
Yeah, I was like, how does he know what he knows? These mystics, these weird people. I'm like, I think they should delve more into that and not just have like these people that know all these answers so that we can move along with the show.
Right. But I think kind of cutting back to it, I think kind of gave it, I don't know, a little bit more foundation.
True.
Or it kind of justifies it a little bit more. So I kind of appreciate it a little bit more. Now, I still think they probably could have cut back a little bit of what was said, but in part, I think it was nonetheless, I think it was rewarding. We are the same, she says. All right, so here we have Major Hollowell, I think, and he talks with Halsey about the ethics and the legality of her Spartan program and the Cortana program, and it gets cut short, but I kind of like where this was going. I kind of wish it went on a little bit longer because I think having Halsey like reprimanded or at least tried is an interesting like sequence that we can kind of like play with.
I have to say I don't like this.
The eavesdropping?
No, like the holographic eavesdropping. This is so unnecessary. And like, why can't you just be like watching a camera feed? I don't get why you need to be in the room. Like, I get the impression that she doesn't know they're there.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think so. The reason I don't think they're holograms per se, because like they're obviously just the actors. Like, there's no like effect or anything. It's not like a Cortana thing. There's no projection. Yeah. So like, I get the sense that like they are kind of just watching the scene happen while in the room, because it's like I don't know, it's like this weird like mind like prison, I guess, that like they're kind of in. So it's like I think I think Parangoski and Keyes are kind of like mentally projecting the room with that device in their mind.
Yeah.
So then they're able to connect with it. Whereas, like Halsey and John, like they have no idea who's in there. And so then when Miranda comes in, like that mind device, I think just connects those three characters together to put themselves in this scene. But yeah, it's kind of a little complicated, and it's just like, okay, why did we need to go through all these steps?
Didn't need to happen, I don't think.
I guess maybe like this sequence shouldn't have been just recorded on a camera or like looking at a feed, or maybe the creators were trying to think of a way to make it more visually engaging, because like kind of having them walking through the room, I think like visually is a little bit more interesting to watch than just the reverse shot of them, and then we cut to a feed of the other three people in a room. Like you're able to bring some movement into the scene, which I feel like could be a reason they chose this.
Sure.
But like lore wise, it is a little startling and kind of off-putting. But to kind of get into the scene here, we have Halsey and John, or John's basically interrogating Halsey, like, explain everything to me.
Yeah, explain the Spartan.
This is where we get the what we've kind of seen. So like if you are unfamiliar with the show and you're joining us, unfamiliar with just the core canon, this moment here is where you learn kind of what the average Halo fan, the
horrible things she did,
kind of like knows already going into it, like what the Spartans did, or what the Spartans had to go through and what Halsey did to kind of get us there. But what I think is most interesting about this, and you kind of touched on it earlier, is that like she doesn't have that much remorse, like if at all.
No, not at all.
She knows that like in the eyes of other people it was wrong, but like she is so like content with it. Like she reconciles herself that she had to do
It's
these
all
things.
justifiable. It's all justifiable.
Yeah.
Now, our Halsey, I say like our timeline Halsey, is like this too, but like in her now, she's also a much older Halsey than this one, so like she definitely gets more maternal and like more regretful, and then definitely looks at the Spartans, has way more attachment to them than she does here. Now she seems to be obsessed with John, but I think that's geared towards his ability to interact with the artifact.
Yes.
That she's so strong with. But having said that, I love Natasha McElhenney. This is great scenes. I love it. They're wonderful, and I love John's reaction. Wasn't sure this is the way the show would go, but like the fact that he's so angry about it, I love that he cares that much that they wiped his mind and took him away.
But he's not like, he's angry and but he has like bottled rage. Like he's able to contain it, and he just like says it straight and like explain it to me, but he doesn't like scream.
He tried to punch her in the face in the previous episode.
Yeah, in the previous episode, yeah. Well, yes. I mean, he was unable to really contain it then. But but just like here, it's just like, you know, especially in this moment exactly, like she's so fascinated by him, which again is another core canon Halsey with her fascination with Forerunner sort of technology
and knowledge,
and just the consumption of knowledge is what she wants. And so, and then her fascination for John, and then you just compound that because somehow they're connected. So I'm really looking forward to like seeing, or if we do, just like Halsey just interacting with more Forerunner tech to then like eventually get to that point. Like I'm trying not to spoil like the super end, just because like that is such a great moment, but like I was kind of hoping that we would get a little bit of a Halo 4 moment, if you know what I mean, with the ending there, which we'll talk about. But yeah, just to see Halsey kind of just in her element and learning and being deceptive, but also just consuming all these Forerunner knowledge and stuff. So,
and this is a huge moment there now when Miranda realizes what her father's capable of, and that I'd say breaks that. Yeah,
and she realizes, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and it's like because he had the beginning of, you know, in episode 1 with like, what was it, Order 47 or something, and it's like,
yeah, did you see this scene here and a bit before that? They really, like, John has such power. It's ridiculous. His jurisdiction seems to be like limitless, like where he can order that interrogator out of the room. He can order Miranda Keyes, go and check this prisoner out and what she's capable of doing. I find that like crazy where like everybody just agrees with him. They're just like, yeah, no problem, John. I'll do whatever you want.
Well, I think it's because, yeah, he's Master Chief, you know, like, but
he's a celebrity. I know, it's cool.
But like he calls Miranda ma'am, and so there is, because I think Miranda is a higher rank than him.
She would be, I'd say, yeah.
There's or I think, yeah, because I think she's still a commander, even though she's also a doctor. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has like, you know, he's a celebrity kind of, you know, he's humanity's hero. So like,
this is huge as well, actually.
He has, you know, what are you trying to say?
Like, this seems to be right now, that was a split between Cortana and John, where she seems to actually leave him. Like, we don't, like, what happens next is that, like, this, he pretty much tells her, go solve problems somewhere else. It's kind of a cut in their relationship.
Yeah, because, well, Cortana was trying to tell him to, like, relax and, like...
Yeah, seek medical help, yeah.
Exactly. And he goes sees who's Kai, who's... needs some medical help of her own.
Yeah. She's gas. I like that this, she's not... I like that they did introduce another Spartan that took the pellet out and has, like, a very different reaction to John. I like seeing that.
It gives just, them more character, and like they're able to explore more with them, I think. Whereas Riz and Vanek, like, we don't see much of them because there's not much more we can really learn about them, because they still have their pellet and they're just waiting for the next orders. You know, it's not like they're going to be talking about something interesting. They're going to be doing mind puzzles and training until it's time to go back to the fight. So, you know, now we have John and Kai, who have these emotional reactions and capabilities because they don't have their pellets.
Yeah. And I think he's going to rely on her a lot more going forward. I mean, they had a bit of a break in the previous episode, like you said, but it's obviously great. And this is obviously a great scene too. I didn't not expect where this scene went.
I didn't know. I didn't know it'd escalate this far. But
which I like.
I like just the dynamic between the two.
Absolutely. They're great.
And that was a good moment where Halsey, she gave basically all the information to John, but she did, very calculated.
Covered them up.
Didn't admit anyone else's involvement and kind of, put a target on their head.
Because she's a politician, man. She's smart. She's planning ahead. She realizes she needs dirt over, or like leverage over these people.
Or she knows that she needs Parangoski on her side, and so she has to protect her to a degree.
She mentions there, I have a new lab for you in Barrier Moon. And it makes it look like she's like, that might be a prison, kind of? Or she's just forcing her to go away. I mean, she's not arresting her, but she's clearly been escorted and access has been revoked.
Well, yeah, I think the plan was to remove her off of reach. I mean, I think she goes to her, I guess, home.
She needs to go to her home. But I get...
Yeah, and she's like... Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know where that place is, but yeah, if it's whether a prison and you get like a fancy cell, or if it's just like, go to this moon and kind of be away from everybody and you can...
Because she says you're not going to use your leverage against us because you don't want to live that way. So she seems confident enough that she can get her to that place and that Halsey won't react against her,
Yeah. So this is interesting because when Miranda was talking about this, how she has a transmission about a crew that was killed and all this kind of stuff, like, I wonder if there's going to be a moment where she's going to realize
the penny drops that it is her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, McKee was the one who was saying all those things. Because, like, I think it's only a matter of time before they realize that it's the same voice.
Definitely because they have that recording. Otherwise, they'd never know. But I like the idea that there's that hook there. There's an element that, like, her time is limited with her act.
Yeah. Because she's going to get found out of it at some point.
Yeah.
So, and I think McKee now knows that as well. Like, she knows that, the time is clicking.
But she doesn't seem too concerned.
I think she's concealing it. But like I have a feeling that it'll motivate her in future episodes to kind of speed up her play. Instead of, just hiding in plain sight. So I kind of liked this to where we got a flashback of Quan because, of all the stuff that John's kind of going through. And it was just very brief. I thought it was just a nice touch to kind of just include that in there. I was like, oh, okay. I'm more interested in that and instead of whatever else she's doing on Madrigal. Which we actually don't get this episode. We don't cut back to her or Soren. In this episode, so we don't.
There's too much going on, man. They can't cut back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think they really shouldn't have cut to them at all in the last episode, or they gave us more in the last episode because the last episode was like the shortest episode so far. So, like, if anything, keep her out of this one because it's a good length. But like, you probably had like 10 more minutes of screen time you could have devoted to them to try to salvage their story, Quan's story there. But now I really like her interior design of like this living space. And like I find it interesting that like I wish her lab was more like this, because her lab is like just a bunch of concrete walls and like a tablet, like a computer table And it's like there's so much more character and stuff in her house here that like I would have preferred if like it was just sciency in her lab and she had other little knickknacks and weird looking table centers and plants, but like I don't know. I feel like this is a better Halsey than
Yeah, shout out to Aidan Ryan. He's another Irish actor
yeah.
from up north. Yeah.
Let's see. Have you seen him in something?
No, never. I just knew his accent straight away.
Oh, okay.
I looked him up. I haven't seen any of the stuff that he's been in.
Now I like this. This is foreshadowing the
This is
Spartan
great.
laser.
And I love how they talk about how many shots it has, the percentages.
Yup.
I was like, oh, this is good.
It's gonna be wild.
This is also a great scene showing the stark differences between the pellet and no pellet.
Yeah.
The fact that all they care about is this, their weapons, their job, their focus. I love it.
Let's see.
This is the recently promoted Dr. Keys.
That's right. I'm trying to remember where. It's hard to watch these without sound sometimes.
Without the subtitles and stuff, yeah.
Well, I have the subtitles on,
Have you? That's probably
but I
right.
can only read and talk so much. So Miranda gets promoted. Now she has Halsey's office
And control of the Spartans.
and control of
Which
the
I thought
Spartans.
was interesting.
And yeah, it's. But again, like this, I think this of all the sets, I think this is my least favorite set. I think I've said that before.
I think you're right. Here is Dr. Halsey's lab, and it's empty. And it's just like, oh my god.
Concrete bunker with a giant
This was
screen.
like, her lab was like an Easter egg in Halo Reach that you wanted, like, that was so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. You telling me you couldn't just put, like, Halsey's journal somewhere in here? God damn it. Come on, guys. Where's the stuff?
Well, they do put some of the drawings in Halsey's journal on the screen there. They've done that in a few episodes.
I might not have caught that. That's cool. That's cool.
For the rewatch.
Yeah. This is kind of ominous and stuff like that, but
Yep, looking at the cloning pod. So, but it's all just sitting in with Miranda that this is now hers. Or is it actually?
or is it? Yeah, I like this. I love that line. I love that line so much. It's so good. Now, this is an absolutely fascinating scene that I've been waiting to happen the whole show. Them two in
Let's
a private
talk
setting.
about it.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm not sure what to believe in terms of from Halsey here. Like, is she playing the politician here? Is she...
I think it's all a facade.
You think? Yeah?
Because like watching it, I got the same sense of like, okay, this might be a moment to where Halsey can actually connect with her.
Yeah, I'm a huge Halsey fan, and like I wanted to see the human mother side of her, and I'm like, oh, we're getting it, but like, is it real? Probably not. That's where the disappointing thing comes in.
Well, it all comes up to at the end there with the whole the eye contact thing.
Yeah, but there's a moment where I'm like, oh, was what she said, like, is all this here
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, this scene right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it is true, if there is a sense of feeling there that she does, think she needs to be a better mother and stuff like that.
It seems like she's cutting the ties, though. Like,
she just suppresses it, for the greater good.
But this is just her saying, like, I never wanted to be a mother, and it's like, I don't believe in family, so there you go.
That's my explanation.
Yeah. But I like how she's just like this. The acting is so good here. She's just like floored, and then just leaves. I like that she just fucking leaves, and that's it. And I was like, now this bit. I'm like, what's the...
Yeah, and like it was too funny because like this is gonna kind of put the show in, in the relevance of other media, but like I watched the Batman like a week or two ago, and there's a very, very similar type of like plot device with the eye contact, and I was just like, oh, that's funny.
See, this here, I'm looking at her thinking like, is she actually upset with what she said? To me, I kind of believe she was. That I want to believe that she really was upset there.
I think that was more of like, all right, that's over with. Like I got through that beat to get what I needed to get. Now I can move on with the limitations that I have.
I feel like in the show, yes, that's actually true, but I want it to be the opposite. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we'll see. We got 3 more episodes, my guy, and then and Natasha has said that she can't wait to play Halsey in season 2 because of just the intricacies, just the complexity of her character. So, there's so many places that we could take Halsey. Now, where did this statistically your 1 in 2 billion come from, I wonder? Like I feel like they're 2 in like 30 billion. But this is good. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where like he's trying to comprehend everything. Like he's trying to just figure out what's going on, and he's just not thinking straight. And that's when McKee, sets it to him that like the device is killing you.
But like, it's so fascinating here in terms of her motives, because she pretty much tells him what to do and how to survive. Do you know what I mean? How to, because obviously this thing probably will kill him if he doesn't do what she says. And it's interesting that she pretty much, I would say, saves his life here by giving him this key information.
But I also think it's like, because she knows that you have to like succumb to it. You have to let it overtake you.
But it's a case of, why is she telling John this?
Because I think she wants to connect with him to then have him either like on her side or have him lead. Because she doesn't know where the artifact is. So she still needs John to trust her to like get to the artifact. And she doesn't have like Golo worms just lying around to clear out everything. So she needs to not only be trusting, like John needs to be trusting of her, but like she just needs him to stay alive. And like, and I think she's in the dynamic of like, join me and together we could rule the galaxy type of a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an angle she's trying to play. Because I do get the sense that like what she's saying right here is like true McKee. Like I can show you.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
This is like, I think, and this is what I was worried about McKee. I was worried that like they were gonna give her some sort of like redeeming story, which they could do, but like so far they're keeping McKee true to like what they've established her as.
Yeah.
So like I think that they just need to continue pushing that and just running with it.
Now, this is what I was waiting to happen too. The Cortana breakout moment. Of like, because up to now, I've been a little bit disappointed with like Cortana's abilities. But I'm glad to see that she's obviously super naive at the moment, but like, I'm glad to see their interaction, that she's breaking out, becoming more.
And you think that's just because she's talking to Halsey in this moment? Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, up to now, John's asked her to do a bunch of stuff, and she's not been able to do anything. So I'm like, you haven't seen Cortana hack anything, you haven't seen her retrieve information, you haven't seen her deal with anything other than disabling John. Do you know what I mean? But what I like to see is that she's all of human knowledge, but like couldn't find the records that Halsey hid on Spartan 2. That's not the Cortana we know, right? We know Cortana can do almost anything.
Yeah, but I guess it's because it's a younger Cortana, and
Yeah.
she just hasn't quite.
Yeah, which is what I like to see, the fact that if she breaks out the FleetCom network, and then from then now I'm expecting her to become more radical, to become more interesting of a character. And obviously she keeps Halsey in the loop now that Halsey's being cut out. And that's an interesting connection there. I also like that so many episodes into the show, Cortana and John are not an item. Do you know what I mean? They're still very much at odds.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't expect
And
the show
I
to do
think that will go all the way to the last episode. Like I feel like it's almost going to be like kind of like Halo Infinite, how that game ends, to where like everyone's like, all right, we just went through that whole ordeal together. Now we're, stronger together because of it. And I feel like it'll echo that a little bit.
That's what I find so fascinating to see. Like I have no concept of what's the moment that will actually bring John and Cortana, like this John and this Cortana together, where they like she's all on board and he's having none of it. So I'm like, what's going to happen to him to open him up?
I don't know, man. He's gonna discover something with the Keystones, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know what I expected out of this scene, but it certainly wasn't what we got.
Let's see, what was my thoughts? Yeah, it wasn't exactly what I thought, but I guess I assumed that we would just unlock more knowledge of something, which I guess we kind of do, but like it wasn't manifested in the same way.
Yeah, like this is weird how she's so geared up right now, because how does she know what she knows? But like it's crazy. And then it's like up to now the Keystones have been John's memories, John's childhood. So like I'm really intrigued, like why that specifically, but then it goes beyond that now.
I remember what my thought process was, because I had that same thought where up until now it's always just been his memories, and I was like, oh well, what if now we finally get a taste of like Forerunner?
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's because her proximity, that she's on the planet with the device, that she is connected here.
I think so. I think that could be what it is. Because like, remember, she felt the presence of the other one when she was the same place where where the smaller Keystone
used to be. Yeah, you're right.
I think there's some sort of energy like emission that she can connect with. Now, the fact that she's able to, as we'll see, to kind of be transported to the location that John goes to, I guess is a little bit of a like, okay, I'll just accept that, but it's not, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more explanations in, the next episode. But like this whole sequence, like I was just like on the edge of my seat. I was like,
yeah, man, this thing's pumping up, man. Like I don't know where they're going.
The drama, the dialogue, the music, and just like everything just really pulls you right in. I was afraid that it was just going to cut, and I was like...
I thought, like, this is the end of the episode.
Just gonna... Because this would be a hell of a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I was like, there we go. End of the episode.
I was credits. Like, damn. But then... Now, when he opened his eyes, I was like, I'm not sure, but like this shot, I immediately was like, fuck yeah, he's on a ring.
I wasn't. I was like, what the hell is this?
I straight up was, I literally said that. I was like, fuck yeah, we're on a ring. Oh gosh. And then like, I was like, again, I was just like in awe. And I was like, and I even was waiting for it too. I was like, I need to see the shot where he looks and we see the whole ring, because it's a ring. And like we get it. So like now I wasn't expecting McKee. I was expecting the librarian.
Same. No, I wouldn't think we get Forerunner just yet. It just seems fascinating that they're connected. So obviously, I don't know. It's such a strange. Like it's not anything we expect or what we know.
Yeah, we're gonna need some explanation a little bit, and maybe we'll get that in the next episode. But yeah, I think it is a little strange that McKee is there with him.
Yeah.
Like, I can see her experiencing kind of the same, like, physical reactions to John because of the proximity, but, like, would that mean if McKee touched the artifact? You know, like, if McKee touches the artifact? Yeah, so, like, this is the shot. I was like, yep, you gotta have the shot.
I was like, where's the music? And there's a little bit of it here. And I won't lie, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Really?
I was like, for this moment, I was like, where's the Halo theme? Do you know what I mean? The fact that it's just this spacey guitar, I'm like, come on, man. And this moment, I'm like, are they gonna kiss? I'm like, don't kiss her. Like, don't do that.
It definitely leaves some interesting, like, yeah. But, like, I also get the sense that this is McKee's first time coming here, too.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You know? She's obviously... They know about the Halo and their holy rings, that they want to get there. So I find that the Keystone is obviously probably a compass, a way to get there, pointing the direction, and then that's what it does.
So it's... Yeah, I just... Yeah, where'd you go? Lots of questions. And it's man, oh man, it was an amazing ending. So my only, like, kind of concern is that, like, with the representation of the ring there, like there was like a lot of, like, soft focus and, like, lens flary stuff and kind of, like, little rainbow effects. And, like, I'm wondering, like, are they going to have all that when we eventually go there and we're, like, fighting on the ring and, like...
I think that's just the effect of you're here mentally, not physically. I'm guessing that's just, like...
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Just a way to kind of show that, like, you're not really there, but you're just, like, in this kind of, like, VR moment kind of thing. That's the way I took it.
I bet you that's 100% true. That makes perfect sense. So, all right, well, that gets rid of any sort of... interesting doubt that I have.
Sean Callery does the music to this? Oh man, he did 24 and a whole bunch of stuff. Interesting.
Dude, yeah, like, literally, I was going to say that he does a little interview on in the after show. You'll have to listen to it. You'll have to find it on YouTube. If you know him by name like that, then I enjoy the music. I think it would be great if it was a little bit closer to, you know, what we know the Halo music is.
Like, it doesn't have to be the whole way, but there's certain moments I just want to hear what I want to hear, and the Halo reveal should have been one of them, to be perfectly honest.
It's hard to argue against that, so I'll just leave it there.
And, like, you know, Oran, I'm going to say our Halo music is a bit better than this show's Halo music. I'm just saying it.
You know,
I'm saying it, guys.
Our soundtrack album, shout out to Troy, slaps. I listen to it just, like, on the regular. When I'm just driving to work or whatever, like, I'll just pop it on. Or if I'm in, like, a podcast zone, I'll listen to that while I write scripts or do the blog posts or whatever.
For sure.
But man, oh man, that's the episode. We got Halo. We're there. It's, you know, I thought we were not going to get on the ring until the last episode.
That might still be true, Oran.
It might still be true. Only time will tell. So, David, anything else you want to say about the episode before we dive into the analysis part?
No, let's get to the analysis. I'll just say it was a good episode. I can see why you say it might be one of your favorites. It might be my favorites, but just from the John perspective, that I loved the previous episodes building up to the moment with him and Halsey. I really found that scene very interesting. I liked where it came out. I like where he is now at the end. The characters are all in different places, which is very interesting. So I'm kind of intriguing to see where we go from here.
Yeah, I echo all of that. And that's why I think it's my favorite right now, because it just builds on everything that episode 5 set up, as well as what the last 4 episodes before that set up. And everyone's in their groove, they're in their zone, they're doing things. You get a lot of great character moments from kind of the whole cast that appears. and then it ultimately builds up to the ring. Like, I don't know how you can really top that without just like a freaking balls to the wall like fight sequence that we kind of got in episode 5. But like, I think from what I'm looking for in a Halo TV episode, like, it's that episode, like, to a T. Because I would even argue, and I said this in the last episode, like, episode 5 was a great battle sequence, but like the first half of the episode I feel like wasn't quite as strong as it could have been for, you know, different reasons which I got into. But like, I feel like this one for me just really hit and touched on a lot of great character moments, and, you know, really, and was able to further the plot, and you care about, you know, what's going on. So really, really like it. So, but let's go ahead and wrap up. And, you know, David, we will have you back on the analysis episode, and we can talk about everything in a little bit more detail. If you're interested, Paramount Plus produces a Halo after show segment called Halo the Series Declassified with Sydney Goodman, and it releases each week alongside the TV episode. For this week of Solace, Sydney interviews Natasha McElhone, who portrays Dr. Catherine Halsey. She discusses Halsey's moral compass and relationship with the Master Chief, and more. In addition to that, the after show includes features with Halo fan Steele Stewart, who draws Quan for us, the audience, while he kind of just talks about his Halo fandom. There's some insight with Sean Callery, like you mentioned, David, the composer for the Halo the series, and he composed 24 and some other shows that he touches on. And he touches on this overall process to creating the show's music and his approach and some of his favorite moments. I think he talks about like episode 3 was a really good moment of his, and episode 6 here has a really good moment that he enjoyed working on. And it also wraps up with a feature about the actors' military boot camp that they went through, and the military technician or tech advisor that they had on set with them to kind of give them the perspective of how to operate as a unit and serve in the military. So lots of good information there if you want to check that out. That also appears on YouTube, or you can watch the full episode on the Paramount Plus app. But thank you so much, David, for joining me.
No problem. I loved it. More Halo, please.
Yes, more Halo. We have 3 episodes left. It's gonna. I think they're just gonna ramp up. We'll talk about it on the analysis. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm excited. Thank you, the listeners, for joining us for another week of Halo TV Plus. Halo the series premieres exclusively on Paramount Plus every Thursday morning at midnight Pacific Time. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, you can find every episode to all of the shows that Evolve produces on our website, evolvedhalo.com. It also features a link to our Discord server, Patreon page, Xbox Live Club, and other contact information. Once again, another special shout out to all of our patrons for their continued support for Evolved and making all of our shows possible. You can head over to patreon.com/HaloEvolved to learn more and learn about the perks that our patrons receive. And finally, if you want to leave us an email or a voicemail about this week's episode of Halo the Series, you can email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 205-EVOLVED, which is 205-386-5833. And with that, I've been your host, Oran, and until next time, evolve!